Yes, good morning, students. So I'm from Pratibha International School and Junior College. Fine. So today we will going to start new practical, biology practical for the class 11. Fine. So here are the slides. Fine. So now, fine. Yes. So yes, our aim for today's practical is to study the animal specimen and their correct identification. What materials we require? We require specimens and virtual images for it. Fine. Fine. So now, see, our first specimen is a Scolidion. It's commonly called as a dogfish or the Indian shark. It belongs to the superclass Pisces, and its classes, uh, it is simply a cartilaginous fish. So it belongs to the class Chondrothex. Fine. So in the Chondrothex class, all the cartilaginous fishes they belong, which have a endoskeleton made up of the cartilage. Fine. So here you can see in this diagram, this is a Scolidion. It's a marine fish. It can be found in the sea and oceans. See, this is the body of this fish. This is Scolidion. It has an elongated body with a and a spindle-shaped body. Its body is streamlined, it's very long, it's laterally compressed, and it is tapered at both the ends. Here you can see both the ends, anterior as well as posterior, both are tapered, both are tapering, and which makes this fish a very fast swimmer. Along with it, it is provided with a variety of the fins you can see on its body. Dorsal fin is there, the paired pectoral and pelvic fins are there. Tail is there, with the help of which it can swim fast in the water. It's a fast swimmer under the sea. Fine. And this fish, it has a pointed snout like a dog. So that's why this fish is commonly called as a dogfish. And due to the presence of a pointed snout, it is also called as a sharp nose shark. It is a common Indian shark which can be found in the sea, Indian seas. Fine. So the whole body of this fish, it is divided into the three parts. Head is there. Here you can see the head is there. A prominent head is there. And the trunk is there. And the tail is there at the posterior end. Fine. So head, mouth it is situated ventrally. So this is a characteristic feature of the cartilaginous fish. Their mouth is situated ventrally, and it has a protruding or the pointed snout. Fine. The entire body is covered by the means of an exoskeleton, which is made up of the placoid scale. These placoid scale they simply prevent the osmotic entry of the water into the body of this fish. Now, then moving on to the next. See, in this Scolidion, it lives in the seawater. So, since it has the aquatic habitat, so that's why its respiration is also aquatic. So, inside the seawater, it respires mainly by the means of five pairs of gills. Here you can see five pairs of gills. They are present. They are all are arranged in a series of gill pouches. Here you can see 1 to 5 external gill slits are there, and inside this the gills are present, which are mainly the organ of respiration in these fishes. They respire with the help of them. They help in the exchange of gases in the water. Fine. Here you can see both these gill slits. They are found on the lateral side of the pharynx. They are not covered by the means of an operculum. Fine, they are simply exposed. This is again a characteristic feature of cartilaginous fish. Their gill slits are there, but they are exposed. They are not covered by the means of an operculum. This fish, it has paired pectoral and pelvic fins. Here you can see paired pectoral and the pelvic fins are there. Ventral fin is there, dorsal fins were there, and a heterocircular tail is there. I show you the diagram again. Here you can see a heterocircle tail is there. Heterocircle tail, it is provided by the means of the caudal fin. Why the heterocircle tail? Because this tail, it is made up of two unequal lobes. That's why it is a heterocircle tail. Again, it is a characteristic feature of the cartilaginous fish. Sexual dimorphism is found in this fish. Males and females, they are separate. Males, they have these claspers on their pelvic fins. on their pelvic fins. On the basis of that, we can identify this is a male. These claspers, they are used as a copulatory organ during the copulation. Fine. And the female, these claspers, they are absent. See this viviparous fish. See this Scalodon is a viviparous fish. It gives directly birth to the babies, while all other fishes, they are oviparous. They lay eggs. Fine. So this is a viviparous fish. I show you its model. Here you can see this is the model which is there in our lab. It's a Scalodon fish. It's a Scalodon fish. It's a dog fish. Here you can see the pointed snout is there. Fine. Here you can see I'm talking about the what claspers. So here you can see the claspers are there. So this is a male fish. So this is the male fish. The claspers are there on its pelvic fin. Here you can see the claspers are there on its pelvic fin, on the basis of which I have identified that yes, this is a male fish. So sexual dimorphism is there. It's prominent in this fish. Fine. So next specimen is a frog. Fine. So now uh, the specimen 2, it is a mrygal fish. Fine, it is a so specimen 2 is a mrygal fish. It's commonly called as a mrygal carp or the white carp. Here you can see the diagram. This is a mrygal fish. Its zoological name is the Sirenoceratops or mrygala. It's commonly called as a white carp because it is a very beautiful silvery fish is there. See, it is a freshwater bony fish. Its endoskeleton is made up of bones and it belongs to the class Osteichthyes. Fine. The color of this fish is grey, silvery grey with a copper tinge is there on its fins. Fine. The body is a spindle shaped, small, streamlined, laterally compressed, laterally flattened. It has a blunt snout and a terminal mouth is there on its head. Fine. So its whole body is divided into head, trunk and tail. A blunt snout is there, mouth is terminal, pair of eyes are there on the head. Fine. And this is the trunk. Here you can see the trunk is there. And a homocircle tail is there. Why homocircle? Because her tail, it is made up of two equal lobes. Fine. So this is the homocircle tail. Whole body is covered by the means of the large cycloid scales are there. Fine. And there are no scales on its head and on its snout. Fine. The mouth is broad. Here you can see the mouth is broad. It is transverse and it is a bottom feeder. It simply feeds upon the algae, phytoplankton and all. And sexual maturity is obtained in the 2 years. They lay the eggs in the rainwater. Fine. So the next specimen is a Rana tigrana frog. Rana tigrana frog. Fine. So now the Rana tigrana frog. It is here you can see the specimen 3 is a Rana tigrana frog. It is commonly seen during the rainy season. You can see in the ponds, pools, lakes, rivers, and humid places. It has a it is a triangular mouth. It is a triangular mouth, fine, and a bisymmetrical body it has. Its whole body is divided into the head and trunk. Here you can see the head is there, prominent head is there, triangular head is there, and a trunk is there, broad trunk is there. This trunk, it bears the two pairs of limbs. Two forelimbs are there and two hind limbs are there. The hind limbs, they are very big and strong and they are used for leaping and swimming in the water. They are provided with the webbed feet. And a triangular head is there onto which a pair of eyes are there. Pair of lateral eyes are there. Tympanum is there. Nostrils are there. These nostrils, they get connected. They are connected to the buccal cavity. Fine. So, and see their eyes, they are covered by the mesogonic membrane when they are under the water. Fine. And the skin of this frog, it is dark green in color with the black patches. And whole skin is very moist, is very moist. And due to this moist skin, it simply breathe through its moist skin. Such type of respiration is called as a cutaneous respiration. Fine. Eyes are bulging, they are protruding out, and they are covered by the mesogonic membrane. Sexes, they are separate. Male and female, they are separate. Males, they have the vocal sacs. through which they produce a specific sound during the breeding season simply to attract the females. Their copulation happens between male and female. Male, it releases sperms into the water. Female, it discharges eggs into the water. External fertilization happens in the water, fresh water, and then from that fertilized zygote, a larva comes out. That larva is called as a tadpole larva. It looks like a fish. It has gills through which it respires in the water, and finally, this larva it develops forelimbs and then hind limbs, and finally, its tail starts disappearing. Its tail starts disappearing, and finally, it get converts into the froglet, baby frog, whose tail then finally disappears, and finally, it get converts into an adult frog. So this is the life cycle of the frog. Fine. So now the specimen is the next specimen is the lizard. Next specimen is the lizard. So specimen 4 is the lizard, that is a Hemidactylus wall lizard. Fine. So this is a common house lizard which are found in our homes. It is simply brown in color. Its body is divided into a head, short neck is there, large trunk is there, and a tapping tail is there. Fine. Head, it bears a pair of eyes with movable eyelids, nostrils are there, ear openings are there, but external pinna they are absent. The skin is very dry and covered by the means of the minute scales. Fine. And the tail it is surrounded by the means of the whorls of the scale, and when any predator approaches to it, it simply break off its tail and escape from that area. So it's a kind of the protective behavior that this lizard it shows, and its behavior is called as a autotomy. Fine. It has a four limbs are there, two forelimbs and two hind limbs are there, legs with the help of which it can move. And these limbs, they are provided with the vacuum pumps, which help this lizard to simply walk or move on the wall, and it cannot fall from it. Fine. So we have a specimen for it. So I show you its specimen. So this is the specimen of lizard, the lizard that I'm talking about. Here you can see this is a common wall lizard that we have. And we also have a specimen of Rana tigrana. I show you. See, specimen, it's here you can see. Here you can see this is the one frog, and this is the another frog that this is the one frog, and this is the another frog that we have. So these two specimens that we have for the class Amphibia, fine. So these two belongs to the class Amphibia. Hemidactylus belong to the class Reptilia. So we have finished with it. And then the next is the class Aves, to which this is specimen Columba livia, that is a pigeon they belong. One representative we have taken, that is a pigeon. Here you can see the pigeon. It's a bird. It belongs to the class Aves. They are gray in color with a narrow fluorescent band around its neck. Their whole body is divided into head, neck, body, and tail. Their whole body is covered with a slate and a grey-blue feathers. Their head is very small and rounded with a pair of eyes. Their eyes are red in color with a stout beak, and this beak is curved, curved in front. It's simply adapted for the grain eating. Fine. So, and they have two pair of the limbs. Their four limbs, they are modified into the wings so that they can fly in the air. Fine. And their hind limbs, they are small, they are covered with the scales, and each bear four clawed digits, and they are adapted for the perching. So simply these are the poaching birds. Fine. So this is the pigeon. We have a model of it. Here you can see this is the model of pigeon. Here you can see how a fluorescent band is there around its neck, and how is hind limbs are there that are used for the perching, and a small tail is there, and a stout beak is there. Fine. Fine. So now this was explanation for it. The next is comes the class Mammalia. Onto this we have one representative, that is a rabbit. Its zoological name is a Oryctolagus cunninculus. It lives here. You can see commonly we call it the rabbit. It lives in the fields We can see them making the burrows. It's a herbivore. It simply eats the plants. It's a plant eater, plant feeder. Fine. Its whole body is divided into head is there, short neck is there, trunk is there, and a small bushy tail is there at the end. So whole body is covered by the means of the hair of white, brown, or black in color. That's why it's a characteristic feature of the mammal that their body is covered by the means of the hair. Fine. So head, on the head, a prominent eyes are there. These eyes, they are pink in color. uh, External pinna are there. Here you can see big, large, two movable external pinna of the ears are there behind their eyes. Behind their eyes, mouth is there. Mouth is there. This mouth is bounded by the soft, fleshy upper and lower lips are there. The upper lip is clefted. It is commonly called as the hair lip, and they are provided with the whiskers on the snout that are very sensory. Fine. And they have again the two pairs of the limbs, forelimbs, two forelimbs. They are shorter and they are mainly used for making the burrows in the sand. And hind limbs, they are long, they help in the leaping. Fine. Sexes are separate. Sexual dimorphism is there. Male and female, they are different. Females, they have mammary glands. Again, a characteristic feature of the mammal. So when their baby is born, the female, it feeds her with the mother's milk that is produced in their mammary gland. And males, they have a pair of the testes that are there in the scrotum with a small and fleshy penis that is used for the copulation purpose. Fine. They all are viviparous. They give directly birth to their baby. So this is all about for today's practical. Thank you very much for watching.